motion. Call it a mom's adoration. Foundation, a special bond of creation. Ha! For all the single moms out there going through frustration. Clean Bandit, China Ball, and Marie thing made them air.
She works the nights by the water. She's gone astray.
The world. This is another STEM communication class, and today we shall be looking at an important aspect of the foundation to science, physics in particular, and it has to do with some quantities called scalar and vector quantities. Now, there's a question we need to ask ourselves: why are scalar quantities? Why scalar quantities? Why are they scalars? And why are vector quantities vector? Today, we shall be looking at why scalar quantities are scalars. What makes them scalars? What makes them to have only magnitude or value, but have no direction or bearing? These are the two major factors that describe a scalar quantity. It must have magnitude, that means it must be variable. It must not have direction, that means it must not have bearing. Then such a quantity is scalar. Now, I came up with a video earlier on where I make an online publication called Operationally 7 Truths for Determination of Scalar and Vector Quantities. You see, there is nothing new on earth, but there's what we call disruptive innovation. Digging out concept, idea, detailed explanation, conviction and not confusion out of what is existing. You saw recently Mark Zuckerberg coming up with threads. It emanates from somewhere, but by that creativity, he has already created something that is unique, different, because the features cannot be 100% the same. And so there's no need for any legal battle, because that is why there is competition. So in communicating STEM, there are so many postulations over the years. This is my almost about 3 decades in STEM communication. A lot of my products are professors in the university all over the world. Okay? And some, up to now, we are still imparting as many to be unique in their pursuit of science, technology, and engineering and mathematics. And so I came up with a lot of postulates, and I'm making it available to the public for criticism, for standardization. And that's why we need to thank an organization like YouTube for giving us this wonderful platform to be able to express ourselves to the world. So I'm looking forward for feedback from whatever postulation or proposition that I'm coming up with. Today we are looking at how do you really know that certain quantities are scalar. If you look at the board, you will see that I classify scalar quantities into 3. The basic quantities, the derived quantities, then some physical constants are also scalar, except acceleration due to gravity. Because by definition, acceleration due to gravity has both magnitude and direction. The magnitude is 9.81, okay, meter per second square, and direction is that anything that goes up always comes down. That is the direction, that is the bearing. So for physical constants, all of them are scalar quantities except acceleration due to gravity. We have some quantities that are derived that are scalar. You can see a lot of them, almost about 20 of them here. Then all basic quantities, all fundamental quantities, which are 10, as we have discussed earlier in previous videos, are all scalars, all basic. Now, in my postulation, in my theory, in my concept, there's a video I've already done on that. There's a reference video where I talked about how to determine a physical quantity as scalar or vector. Operationally scalar and vector quantity determination, 7 truths proposition. Now there are 7 truths. 4 of them are meant for determining scalar quantities. What are they? Number 1, a quantity is scalar if there is impossibility in bringing out velocity dimension, which is L over T, in the quantity dimensional sentences. It is not possible for you to bring out any velocity dimension. Velocity dimension is length per time, L over T. Okay? And that is why if you look at the 10 basic quantities, they are foundational. You can't derive velocity from this because they are just individualistic here. So that's why all the 10 fundamental quantities are scalar. Then point number 2 condition for determining a quantity to be scalar is the basic dimension, okay? The basic dimension. You know what I mean by the basic dimension? The dimension we got from all these basic quantities. Okay? Derived after synthesizing, after you break the quantity down, is more than one. After bringing out one velocity dimension. Now, if you break up any physical quantity, a derived quantity, and you are able to get more than one velocity, L over T, more than one, then you get L over T times L over T, then that quantity cannot be vector, to be scalar, because velocity dot velocity is scalar. Okay, point number 3 or point 3 proposition. If there is any extraction of 2 velocity dimension from a physical quantity, if there exists a physical quantity, and after the dimensional analysis, there is a way we can get out 2 L over T from that particular physical quantity. That physical quantity cannot be vector, it is scalar. The fourth one is this. If by definition of a physical quantity, its components, its variables, reflect vector quantities joined by dots or products, as we are going to see that one under magnetic flux. Magnetic flux is a product of my magnetic flux density times area times cos theta. Both the magnetic flux density B and area, by definition of magnetic flux, are those quantities. Okay, they are vector, but because the two of them are vectors, it results into scalars. So we shall be talking more about that in this analysis. So I believe I've been able to make myself clear that the other 3 propositions, like I told you, 4 are for scalar, 4 are for determining vector quantity. We'll talk about that when the time for that one comes. So we shall be using these 7 truths, and these 7 truths, like I said, are made to the public for criticism. I welcome criticism. Over the years, I learned from my students. One of the easier ways you can learn as a teacher is to learn from your students, even from their mistake, from their error, from their wrong thinking, from their wrong proposition. By the time you are trying to correct them, you are learning and you are increasing knowledge. And that has metamorphosed into some of this stuff. Scalar quantity used to be a headache to me. I used to wonder, how do you know? You see, because you will see a quantity. Inside it, there is a vector quantity, like force, inside work done, inside energy. You will have thought that energy and work should be vector, but because of this proposition I'm coming up with, it ended up being scalar. Now let's start. Let's start with power. I want to pick power. Power is expressed in watts. The unit is also joule per second, meaning watt is also joule per second. And you can go further to break it down into base units. Okay, we have done that in an edition of this STEM communication. Now let's look at power. Why is power a scalar quantity? Can you see? Because if you look at this power, you will have thought that power is supposed to be a vector quantity, but it's not. These 7 truths will reveal that. Now, power is, well, you can use work per time, you can use energy over time. So if I'm to use energy over time, I can pick one of the energies, maybe potential energy over time, okay? Now, potential energy is mass times acceleration times height over t. Now, let's break it down into basic dimension. This will give us mass is capital letter M. Acceleration due to gravity is L over t squared. Height is length. You remember that? Then we have time at the denominator, capital letter T. Now, if you look at this, you will see the reason why power is never a vector quantity, based on this postulate that I've created. Okay? So if you look at this, you will notice that here there is mass here. You separate that one. Here we have length over t. I want to pick this length over t. Do you see that? L over t. Then there's another length up here. I want to pick one of these t. You have 2t here. I'll pick one here. Then the one that is remaining, I bring it under this n. So because you can see that we have 3t, 3 raised by 3 is still 3 raised by 3, L squared. You see that? Now, if you look at this is velocity. That's the dimension for velocity, L over t. Okay? And velocity, like I told you, velocity is a vector quantity. Vector dot vector will give you scalar. Take note of that. And from those two I mentioned, you can see all these ones are what? They are scalars. They are scalars on their own. Mass is scalar, time is scalars. They are basic dimensions. Okay? So it means that since this is scalar, and these two end up being scalar, then it means that this power is a scalar quantity. One would have thought that since it is having acceleration, which is vector, or since it is having mass times acceleration, which is force is also a vector, one would have thought that power is a vector quantity. But by the time we come up with this analysis, that is one of the importance of dimensional analysis. It helps us to determine if a quantity is scalar or vector. Do you see that? Okay. Now that is an example. So another example is that I've already told you that all these basic are not vector, they are scalar, because we cannot bring out anything vector from it, anything velocity from this. Is that clear? Okay, now let's take another one. Let's look at pressure. Yes, that's another thing. Another quantity that is so contradictory. Pressure can be force over area. It can be density times accelerated to gravity times height. Any one of these will give us the dimension that we want. Now let me use this. Density is mass over volume. That is capital letter M over L cube dot. Acceleration is length per is L per t squared. L per t squared. Then height is length. So we have M here. We have L raised to power 3 here. We have L raised to power numerator L raised to power 2 over t. If you break this down, we have M. If you use indices or you cancel this, if one L will go down, then what do we have here? T. Oh, that is t squared. Sorry, t squared. So we have t squared. Now, if you look at this, there is no way I can bring out velocity from here. No way, it's not possible, because velocity is distance over time, L over time. There's no L up here. All these give me pure fundamental or basic dimension over L dot t, because t squared is this. So because I cannot get not even a single velocity from this, then that is why pressure is what? Is scalar. Do you see that? Okay, now let's pick another one. Let's pick another one from why all these scalar quantities, all these physical quantities are scalars also. Let me pick coefficient of viscosity, please. Coefficient of viscosity is actually force per area per change in velocity, velocity gradient, dV/ds. Now, force is mass times acceleration. This is area. This is velocity v over L. Okay, this one is velocity over L. Now, let me symbolize it. Mass is capital letter M. This g is L over t squared. This area is A. That is L squared. Symbolizes area. Now, I have this here. Look at this. I've done this. It remains this. Now, this one, this L will go up. It will remain V. Velocity. Okay, now let's break it further. This is M. This is L, this is under L, divided by this is L squared dot T squared. Now this one, velocity, is L over T. If you put L over T here, that T will go up, the L will come down. Take note of that. Now, L square here, L square here. Do you see that? Did you see that? So what we have left, what we have is this. Look here. We have M, we have T divided by, okay, now let me see, this T, okay, we have 2T here. One of these will go, it will remain one down. Okay, so we have just one T here and one L. Do you see that coefficient of viscosity also? We have 3 basic dimensions. There's no way we can get velocity from here. That is why that constant, like another one here, are proven to be this. Now let's look at speed. Because you may want to say that speed, why is it that speed is not vector? Because speed is also distance over time. Is distance over time. Do you understand that? Now, distance is L, factor right, and T is this. And one of my tricks is that if you're able to bring out at least one velocity, because this also symbolizes velocity, even though we're talking about speed. But in this case, speed is not vector, it is scalar by definition, because it is made up of purely quantities that are scalars. Distance is length. And distance, in defining distance, you don't incorporate direction or bearing. So by definition also, some quantity, either scalar or vector, can be what they are by definition. If a particular quantity is being defined by definition and the dimensionally is given another thing, then you go for that definition. We'll talk more about that by the time we'll be looking at why vector quantities as vector quantities. The last example, as I round up, is this magnetic flux. Now, magnetic flux is this. It is equal to magnetic flux density. When you see a symbol and there's put a line under it, it means it's a vector. Dot area is also a vector in this context. Area ordinarily is scalar, but in the definition of magnetic flux, you put this there, it means it is a vector, cos theta. Now, mathematically, vector time dot vector give you scalar. That is what makes magnetic flux to be a scalar quantity. And if magnetic flux is a scalar quantity, it means that magnetic flux density must also be a scalar quantity. Don't forget that the unit of magnetic flux is Weber. And Weber means volt second. Volt second. If you analyze this, you'll be able to understand this point I'm raising. Because voltage, which is also potential difference, is work done per charge. So it means then times time. If you analyze this, you will end up adding some of those truths that I've just told you, and that to prove to you that magnetic flux is actually a scalar quantity and not vector quantity. So why not try all this other one? Get the formula. Surface tension is force per unit length. Stress is just like pressure. Young modulus is also like pressure. That is stress over strain. Okay. When you say density, density is mass over volume. There's no way you can get velocity from density. So energy density, of course, that is energy over volume. Charge is current times time. This one is, look at it, current time. No velocity. They are pure basic dimension. So you can try your hand on all this and to be able to verify this. But mind you, before I came up with these tricks, I have tried it on all these quantities that you are seeing, and I've noticed that they conform to those four tricks proposition that determine the reason why scalar quantities are scalar quantities. I believe with this, there's no need for you cramming or trying to memorize. When you see any quantities in any examination, just use these tricks that I've just introduced to you, you get it perfectly Right. These are things you may not see in textbooks. Thank you. Always subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share with your friends, neighbors, support. I'm here to serve you educationally. Not only that, to make you to go destructive, standing out of the crowd in workplaces.
Call it love and devotion. Call it a mom's adoration. Foundation, a special bond of creation. Ha! For all the single moms out there going through frustration. Clean Bandit, China Paul, and Marie thing make them air.
She works the nights by the water. She's gone astray, so far away from her father's daughter. She just wants a life for a baby. All on her own, no one will come. She's got to save him.
Daily struggle.
She tells him, ooh, love, no one's ever gonna hurt you, love. I'm gonna give you all of my love. Nobody matters like you.
Stay up there.
She
Stay
tells
up there.
him your life ain't gonna be nothing like my life. You're gonna grow and have a good life. I'm gonna do what I got to
Stay up there. Stay up
So
there.
rock-a-bye, baby, rock-a-bye. I'm gonna rock you, rock-a-bye, baby, don't you cry. Somebody's got you, rock-a-bye, baby, rock-a-bye. I'm gonna rock you, rock-a-bye, baby, don't you cry. Rock-a-bye, no.
Rockabye, rocka, rocka, rockabye. Rockabye, rocka, rocka, rockabye. Single mom, what you doing out there? Facing the hard life without no fear. Just see and know that you really care. Cause any obstacle come, you well prepare. And no mama, you never shed tear. Cause you have to set things year after year. And you give the youth love beyond compare. You find the school fee and the bus fare. Already pops disappear. In a wrong bar, can't find him nowhere. Steadily your workflow, everything you know, so you're not stop, no time for your dear.
Now she got a 6-year-old, trying to keep him warm, trying to keep out the cold. When he looks in her eyes, he don't know he is safe when she says, ooh, love, no one's ever gonna hurt you, love. I'm gonna give you all of my love. Nobody matters like you. So rock-a-bye, baby, rock-a-bye. I'm gonna rock you, rock-a-bye, baby, don't you cry. Somebody's got you, rock-a-bye, baby, rock-a-bye. I'm gonna rock you, rock-a-bye, baby, don't you cry.
With a bang, 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 alright then.
No.
Rockabye, rocka, rocka, rockabye. Rockabye, rocka, rocka, rockabye. Rockabye, don't bother cry. Lift up your head, lift it up to the sky, yo. Rockabye, don't bother cry. Angels around you, just dry your eye.
Now she got a 6-year-old, trying to keep him warm, trying to keep out the cold. When he looks in her eyes, he don't know he is safe when she says. She tells him, ooh, love, no one's ever gonna hurt you, love. I'm gonna give you all of my love. Nobody matters like you.
Stay up there,
She
stay up
tells him
there.
your life